On the day he was drafted, Tyrese Maxey made a promise to the Philadelphia 76ers.
I thank Philadelphia for this opportunity. I promise you it won't be regret.
4 seasons later, the guard's become the jewel of the franchise. That player who bodes well for a promising future on a team that's endured devastating failures over the past decade. That young man on whom the entire city of Philadelphia is placing its expectations. But the road hasn't been easy. Maxey not only had to earn the trust of the coaching staff at every level he played at, but he had to suffer setbacks throughout his career. From playing one game with his weak hand after breaking a finger in an AAU championship, to being considered an inefficient scorer by 20 franchises on draft night, from being benched after playing at all-star level under Doc Rivers, to becoming the most important piece during the season in one of the NBA's biggest markets. This is the crazy story of Tyrese Maxey. When the kid was born in Dallas in 2000, no one expected his future to be like this. His father Tyrone was a college basketball player for the Washington State Cougars for 2 seasons in the 1990s, but neither his mother Denise nor he expected that while Tyrese grew up idolizing Dwayne Wade, he would one day be dominating the courts in the same manner. When Tyrone did realize his son's potential, it didn't take long for him to use his coaching experience to offer him the best developmental conditions. And well, if there's one thing Tyrese has shown since he was very young, it was his unique determination. When he was still competing in AAU, Maxey broke his pinky finger in a match at Garland, but he decided to play the match using only one hand. When he reached high school, Maxey began playing the shooting guard position at South Garland High School. There he made history, leading South Garland to their first appearance in the Texas State basketball tournament. Seizing this opportunity, Tyrese knew that this was his best showcase to find a good college. In the championship semifinals, Maxey managed to score 46 points in a game they lost in overtime. After having the option to reclassify to the NBA a year early, the guard decided to continue one more year in high school with the goal of becoming a McDonald's All-American. He succeeded, as well as helping qualify the Colonels for their first ever state finals, which they disappointedly lost. It was a bitter end for Tyrese on a team level, but a much bigger stage awaited him. Maxey was considered a 5-star recruit since his sophomore year by every agency in the country, including ESPN rivals or 24/7 Sports. He was also considered one of the 15 best high school players by all of them. Despite all the options he could have had if he had shown interest, Tyrese ended up deciding on the offer from the University of Kentucky much earlier than players in his situation usually do. There he played under the legendary John Calipari, who would give him a perfect stage to demonstrate his abilities in Division I. Or at least that was his idea. The truth is that Tyrese had a somewhat disappointing season for what was expected of him. The freshman averaged 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists per night, with a 43% shooting percentage from the field and 29% from three-point range. His performance created some doubts among NBA scouts who know that this type of undersized guard has more and more problems adapting to professional basketball. And these doubts obviously made draft night less enjoyable for Tyrese. The guard, knowing he could fall out of the lottery, entered the draft anyway. And no, he wasn't lucky enough to be a lottery pick. In fact, Maxey fell all the way to 21st overall on the biggest night of his life, where he was picked by the Philadelphia 76ers. A protected pick that, by the way, went to the Sixers for 2 clutch three-pointers that Mike Muscala scored in the bubble. Yeah, I'm not kidding. After finally being selected, Tyrese was no doubt relieved, and in tears. He promised the organization that they wouldn't regret investing that pick on him. Man, the kid was not lying. But nothing was gonna be easy. Maxey came to a team that was being coached by Doc Rivers, and everyone knows that he's not a big fan of young talent. Tyrese had a very minor role, playing just 15 minutes a night, and serving as a fill-in for Ben Simmons and Seth Curry. However, there was one special night. In the 9th game of his career, the Sixers were facing the Nuggets. The problem? All but 7 players on the rosters were absent with COVID. And in a game where we got to see Dwight Howard playing point guard, we got to see Maxey shine in all of his glory. 39 points that, in his head, meant, maybe this NBA thing, it's not so difficult. And well, the Sixers are not a team without drama. In fact, every offseason they seem to experience a different kind of it. When Maxey was about to enter his sophomore season, the team's main problem was that Ben Simmons didn't want to return to the court. So Tyrese got the starting spot, and from the beginning, he didn't disappoint. He averaged 17.5 points, more than double his scoring mark from the previous season, and also shot 43% on three-pointers during the regular season. Yeah, this is the same kid who 2 years earlier had shot a dismal 29% in the NCAA with a closer three-point line. And at the time, his outside shooting was still considered a weakness by scouts. Since then, Maxey's been able to show what he's capable of. Adopting James Harden as a mentor, the guard began to expand his scoring ability and established himself as the third offensive option on one of the best offenses in the league. Shooting from Trae Young distances on the move, catch and shoots off the dribble, with tremendous creativity and touch to finish near the rim, and using his world-class speed as a strength, Tyrese showed that he had a great future ahead of him. But Doc didn't see it that way. During the 2022-2023 season, Rivers began using Maxey off the bench, something we know bothered the guard who had shown no signs of regression. But as luck would have it, last summer the Sixers changed coaches. Nick Nurse arrived in Philadelphia and his intention was clear: to turn Maxey into an NBA star. Since then, the guard's averaged 26 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds per game. Averages that, along with the good record the Sixers had, helped send Tyrese to his first All-Star game. And finally, the Maxey has been released. This freedom that Nurse gave him by making him the main ball handler has allowed him to drop 2 50-point games this season. These performances have been of vital importance in a team that lost a future Hall of Famer, James Harden, from its roster last summer in an offseason full of typical 76ers drama. But the team with a healthy Joel Embiid became a top 5 in the league in offensive rating and defensive rating at the same time, in addition to having the best net rating in the entire NBA. However, the injury of last year's MVP in what has been his career season so far has weighed down the team's performance. The Sixers have managed to add some wins during his injury, but the truth is that without Embiid, this team would not be able to qualify for the playoffs. Still, this huge increase in responsibility for Maxey, who's only 23 years old, has allowed him to learn what it means to be the main focus of opposing teams' defensive game plan. He's never received as much attention as he has during the months of February and March, yet he's managed to average 27 points on 45% shooting from the field and 41% from three-point range during those 2 months. It makes sense. No one can replace the production of a player who was having a better season than the season in which he won the MVP. Joel Embiid is simply irreplaceable for Philadelphia. But what people fail to appreciate is that the team with Embiid and without Maxey would also suffer much more than it seems. Tyrese offers a player that the Sixers have previously been unable to find as a running mate for the MVP. An offensive-minded outside scorer capable of generating his own shots from virtually any spot, and capable of drawing enough attention to make defenses not double the Cameroonian. What's scarier though is how much he could improve. Maxey is, as of today, a clear favorite to win the Most Improved Player award. But this is not the first time he's been close to the award. Last season, before Doc Rivers benched him, he was one of the favorites, and during the previous one, he was 6th in the MIP race. A player who keeps getting better and better shows he's cut from a different cloth. His mentality and determination to improve have not only made Tyrese one of the most important and exciting guards in the league, but they've also made us not doubt his ceiling.